You point to ways in which faith communities could have a sort of larger imagination with regard to each of these. And in beginning to get into that conversation, you suggest that while it's all fine and good to clean up a local park or paint a school, that those are relatively shallow concerns compared to what you're envisioning?
Yeah, that's right. If we take this vision of shalom, this vision of holistic flourishing really seriously, and believe that it is central to the mission of the church in the world to be agents of flourishing, then it's not like it's a bad idea to do these sort of episodic, one-off, compassion Sundays of cleaning up the park or whatever. But there's a disconnect between sort of that level of activity and this very, very intensive and extensive vision of flourishing. And what I argue in the book is not necessarily that every church has to make some grandiose contribution to all of those 6 realms that you were just mentioning. Most churches are relatively small. They're under 100 people. And they don't necessarily have, tons of money. So I'm not suggesting that each church is responsible to accomplish sort of vast things. But what I am saying is that our imagination ought to be very robust and ought to have in mind real transformation, right? Not the Band-Aid stuff, not the short-term commodity-based stuff, the deeper relational, ongoing, longer emphasis sorts of works, which may mean that it would be, in my view, wiser for a church to do less, right? Why have 5 different programs, each of which are only 2 inches deep? And instead say, wow, the vision here is really big. We can't do it all, but we could maybe make a bit of a real impact on a small number of people if we focused our efforts, concentrated on sort of one thing and went deeper and for a longer period of time. And that's the kind of shift that I would like to see. Many, many, many churches are involved in their community in one way or another. Some of the research talks about, 85% of churches are doing something. But a lot of what they're doing is the more short-term, episodic stuff. And if we believe that this is the vision for human flourishing, then we ought to be willing to rethink some of those more episodic activities and look for something deeper and more sustainable.
Yeah.